boys and girls, all fourth graders at Nathan Elementary School, and their teachers and guests. I'd like to welcome you for our special assembly. We've worked really hard for this. And I want to remind you what you've learned in the past few weeks. We read stories, I don't know if you remember, Buddy Unchained. We read Magnificent Chance to raise our understanding of the needs to save rescues. We also track data. We thought about how many strays and shelter dogs still need homes. Today we have two special guests. We have Miss Burma from the Uxbridge Animal Hospital. And Mrs. Utah from the Popic Animal Rescue. I'd like to give them an opportunity to talk to you for a few minutes. But first, I have 3 volunteer student writers that would like to share some of their stories. But before they do, I need to remind you that we started these lessons talking about everyday heroes. And that's what you are. Marissa Patarillo will read her story.
We all can change the world one dog at a time. In my literacy class, we were learning about how dogs are rescued from animal shelters. My Auntie Carla rescued a dog named Emmy. Emmy is a rescue dog from Tennessee. She is such a cute and special dog. My auntie was thinking of getting a dog from a rescue animal shelter in Medfield called Forever Friends about 2 years ago. Auntie Carla decided on getting a girl, and she named her Emmy. Emmy is a Basset Hound Terrier mix. She was 12 weeks old when my auntie adopted her. My sister got to see Emmy before me, and she told me how she liked to take your socks off your feet. I was so excited to see her the next day. When I first met Emmy, she would always sleep on my lap. When I slept over my auntie's house, she would call on me when I got to bed. When I FaceTime my auntie, she would put Emmy on camera. When I talk to Emmy, she moves her ears and looks at me. Even though Emmy is not my dog, I still love her the same.
Next speaker is Isabella Gaudette.
Rescuing a dog won't change the world, but for that one dog, their world will be forever changed. We rescued our dog Diesel from Tennessee when he was a young pup. We rescued Diesel from where his mom was rescued when she was pregnant with her litter of pit bull mixed puppies. I didn't know that we were going to get him until one day my parents told my siblings and I that we were going to get toys for our grandparents' dog Jackson. When we got to the pet store, my dad handed us envelopes with pictures of Diesel inside that said, "We're getting a dog!" We were all surprised and happy about getting Diesel. Then my mom said we would have to wait a few weeks until he comes. The organization that rescued Diesel is called Companion Pet Rescue, and they had to drag him up from Tennessee. When he got to Massachusetts, he had to stay in quarantine for a few days. When it was the day to get him, my mother, brother, and I had to drive to Boston for him. My sister and dad couldn't come because she had a soccer game. After picking up Diesel, we met the rest of my family at PetSmart, where we got him back and the rest of the things he needed. The groomer asked what the name of our dog was, and we said, and then my family agreed on Diesel. We've had him since May 16, 2015. I think that rescuing a dog can change that dog's world forever because you're showing them what love and affection means. There are so many dogs that need good homes. The best way to find a dog is to rescue one.
Our next speaker is Shelby Scoggins.
Dr. Seuss said anyone can make a difference no matter how big or how rescued my dog, Feline. She's a boxer pit mixed terrier. The organization called Becky's Bridge in Shreveport, Louisiana found Feline with a broken hip bone and a broken leg. They were about to euthanize her, but one day my mom and dad went to go see what kinds of dogs they had. My mom, first seeing her, felt that she was a dog to adopt. Now we have Feline. Feline is now 7 years old, and I am so glad that she is not one of those dogs in a shelter anymore. She has a sister named Dixie. Dixie is a bloodhound and she is 6 years old. They play really well together as a team. I made a difference by changing the dog's life, so can you. Try and ask your parents to please adopt a dog today. Every day, dogs are being left outside without food or water or are left in shelters for a long time. So please adopt a dog today.
I'd like to introduce Miss Verma, who's Mrs. Verma's daughter. And you know how much Mrs. Verma helped us make our toys. She's going to tell us a little bit about the Uxbridge Animal Hospital. So, Miss Verma, but you can call me Kelly, okay? So, I work at the Uxbridge Animal Hospital, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do there and what I do there. So it's called an animal hospital, but I want you to think of it more like an animal doctor's office, like a doctor's office for dogs and cats, okay? So we see appointments for dogs and cats. We also do cool things like surgery, and we can take x-rays, and we do laser therapy and different things like that. How many of you guys, I know those 3 girls have dogs, but how many of you guys have dogs and cats? Oh, no. So chances are you or your parents or whomever has brought your dog or your cat to an animal hospital, like where I work. So my job there is a receptionist. So, you know, a dog or cat needs an appointment, and their owner calls in and they talk to me, and I get the appointment scheduled for them. So that's pretty much what I'm doing there at the animal hospital. I help everybody get everything that they need. So oftentimes we see those newly adopted pets, new rescued pets for their first visits. And what we do with different rescues, like the Perfect Life rescues, we help to coordinate patient care. So I talk to Julie all the time. People will call in and they will let us know that their family is looking to adopt a new pet through the Perfect Life Rescue or another local rescue. So Julie or someone from the rescue will call in and we will check out, you know, how they care for their current pets, so that when a new pet gets adopted, it can be their forever home. It can be their best fit. So other things that happen at the hospital and how we help pets. I'm going to use a little bit of a personal story. We had an older couple come into the hospital, and their cat was really, really sick. She was about 10 years old, and she kept throwing up everywhere, and she wasn't using her litter box. And they knew that she was sick and that she needed help, but they couldn't really afford to help her. So the doctor who was caring for this cat knew that I was looking for a pet, and asked me if I'd be willing to take her home. So what happened is this couple surrendered their cat to the animal hospital, and we found out that she had a food allergy. So we got her all fixed up. We put her on a hypoallergenic diet, and her new name is Mimi. She's been my cat for the last year or so, and she's my new best friend. So that can happen, you know, we can adopt from rescues and things like that, but pets can also get surrendered and find new homes. Another story for you, I'm going to use my mom's cat as an example here. So Mrs. Verma has a cat, and her name is Jane. Jane was found on the street by a local rescue, and she needed a major surgery. So she got brought into our hospital, we fixed her up, gave her back to the rescue to find a new home, and then she got sick again. So she came back to the hospital, and she stayed with us for a little while. At that time, I was living with my mom, and I said, hey, Mom, what would you think about taking a cat home? You know, she doesn't have to live at the hospital. She could live with us for a little while, and we could foster her, find her a new home. And she agreed, so we took Jane on home, and not long after that, we call it a foster fail, where we weren't her foster parents anymore, we became her real family. So I have rescued a cat, and so has Mrs. Verma back there, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. So that's a little bit about how our hospital works with rescue places. I want to share one other story. I was talking to Mrs. Torby a little earlier before you guys came in, and I know you've read a couple of these books here. I want to share a story about somebody else that I work with.
who rescued a dog. Her name is DJ. And she used to do a lot of different fostering and rescuing in different cities like Boston. So she got called in one day, and they had found a puppy in a house in Boston. She was barking, and nobody knew what was going on, so they went in there. And what had happened is somebody moved out of the house, and they left her behind. They left this poor little puppy behind. So what DJ did was take her in, and she went through training with her and helped her acclimate to a better life, helped her to not be afraid of people, and helped her stay in her forever home. So I think that's a little bit like one of these books that you read. So that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Utah from Public Life Rescue. Who remembers all the dogs we looked at to pick one for our poster? Okay? And I showed Mrs. Utah one of our posters that we did, and she was so happy. But she can talk to you more about what her organization does, because I didn't have all the information. We just really had some wonderful dogs that needed some help. Thank you.
This is awesome. You guys are all awesome. You're all animal lovers, and I can tell how much it means to you to be here and to be supporting rescue. So thank you so much. And these stories were amazing. You guys all did a wonderful job. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about rescue. I'll introduce myself a little bit so you know what I've done. I've done a lot of studying. You guys do a lot of studying?
Yes.
I did a lot of studying. So I'm a biologist. Does anybody know what that is? We do some. You know what the study of biology is?
Yeah. Study laws that somebody
Yeah, we study science. Who here studies science? You all do, right? Yeah. So the study of science and animals and the earth and where we come from and what we do. And so I'm a biologist and I'm a certified dog trainer. And I live in Uxbridge, Massachusetts, and I have 2 boys. And my husband and I love dogs, and one day we decided we're going to open a rescue. So I flew to Alabama, and I met a bunch of great people who wanted to help foster dogs, to take them into their homes and keep them for a little while before we send them north to Massachusetts to find their forever homes. And so there's a lot of dogs down south. Did anybody hear that? There's so many dogs down south that need loving homes, right? And it's not any fault of their own. They live a little bit different down south. Their culture's a little bit different. But we want to be able to help take some of those dogs that don't have homes and bring them up to Massachusetts, where we have so many people who want to get loving homes. So I got to go see the shelters and meet a lot of great people down there, and I opened Public Life Rescue. And so what we do is we take family-friendly dogs that I could just bring in here and that would run around and play and kiss you guys and roll over and you have to give belly rubs. Does anybody here give belly rubs to their dog? Yes, you have to give belly rubs. So we take those kind of dogs. We take puppies, we take adult dogs. I've got a 7-year-old dog right now. His name is Hank. He had heartworm. We treated him and we brought him north, and he's a good old boy, and he's looking for a loving home right now. And we have some crazy puppies like little Wiggles. I see Wiggles was on that sheet you guys made. And we have Parker. And we have lovely dogs all the time. So what we do is we make sure that they get all the vetting they need. We work with a lot of vets offices, both down south and then up here in Massachusetts. And we vet the dogs, and we transport them, and we quarantine them. One of you girls spoke about that. They have to meet state requirements, so they have to go to doggy jail for about 2 days before they can be released. And then doggy jail, it happens. And then we bring them home, and then I have all wonderful families come over to my house, and the families get to meet the dog and find out if it's a good fit. Because if you saw a picture of a dog, would you know what the dog is like? Would you know their personality from the picture? No. No, you really can't. So it's nice to meet the dog and touch the dog and see if that's going to be a nice pup that's going to run up to you and kiss you and want to be with you, right? And then what we do is we find those good fits, and then we send these dogs into their loving forever homes, which is wonderful. And then we get pictures and updates and see how much these dogs mean to their new families. And then we get to see how happy and loved that those dogs are, which is why we do all of this. We want to save lives for these wonderful dogs down south, and we want to help enhance the lives of all the families here in Massachusetts. So now we work with Alabama, we work with Mississippi, and we work with Texas. Did anybody hear about Hurricane Harvey and all the issues down in Texas?
Yeah.
Yes. So we try to take all of these dogs that need help up to Massachusetts and find them homes. So it's really important that we have advocates who go out and support rescue and tell people how important it is to save a dog. And that's what you guys are doing. And I'm so proud of you all to be able to go out and tell people these are good dogs and they need homes. And with your help, I'll be able to help place these dogs in the loving homes that they need. And you guys will really be making a difference. So I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. The fact that you're also making these love tugs so that they can be sold and raise money, because it is expensive to help save these dogs and get them here. So everything that you guys are doing really makes a difference. And one of the girls who was up here speaking said, it doesn't matter how big you are, doesn't matter how old you are, everybody can make a difference in their own way. And a lot of people help in different ways within the community. And it's important to find out about yourself, to know yourself, to know where you want to help out. Whether you like to help animals, or the elderly, or you want to help fundraise for maybe a family that's in need. So all of those things are important, and I appreciate that you guys are really interested in making a difference in the world. And I thank you for having me here, and I really, really could not be prouder of you guys. So thank you so much.
Left, I would like to ask if any children in the audience would like to ask a question to one of our guests. Ms. Garma from the Animal Hospital, or Mrs. Utah from the Adopted Life Rescue. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
We are a dog rescue, but we work with other rescues with help cats, and we have help cats through those rescues.
Go ahead, Ella. Do you have a question?
When you work in the hospital, do you like just help like dogs and cats, or do you also have like garbage?
So our hospital specifically is just dogs and cats. The doctors that work there just do small dogs, small animals like dogs and cats. But there are a lot of other hospitals in the area that will do guinea pigs and all kinds of fun other small animals like that. I tried to, yeah. I've been working there for about 5 years, so. Avery, is there any question? Yeah?
As Pocket Life Rescue, we are always open. We always rescue.
Skylar?
When you started, did you just do the job that you do?
You know, this started as just another job for me, but turned into something that I'm very passionate about. I started that job when I was about 19 years old, and I'm 24 now, so I've been there for quite some time. And
was wonderful. She was our Harley Doodle, and I wanted to get another dog. And I said, how can I help out and help save these dogs if I can't adopt another dog? Some people you can't adopt, or you can't foster, or you can't fundraise, but everybody can all help in their different way. And I said, wait a minute. I said, I'm a biologist and a certified trainer. What can I do? I can open a rescue. And to the horror of Mr. Utah, I opened a rescue. And guess what? Saved a dog. Is that right?
Present all of the toys that we put this up. Children in the back row, please stand. John Harper, Jack Marino, Shelby, Isabella, and Amber, Marissa, and Gabe. My dog stole the first one. It had spit all over it, so we should have donated to you. All right, so thank you so much for coming. This makes such a difference. And I wanted to let you know, children, that this is the time of year we're thinking about gifts that we want to receive, but you just gave the best gift ever.